Welcome back to a new episode of Satisfactory. I'm heading down to our space elevator because, as you can see in the top right corner, we've completed our versatile framework. So what I've already done is make sure that also those are heading to the sink. And I made sure I did that pretty fast. I've changed up these belts, put in a few lifts and a merger. Still got this one open for the next item we need, but I do want tickets. So we currently got 8 saved up, but I do want a lot more. Let's, while we're here, have a check on our doggies. Let's see what Strix has found. I don't think we've had that before. What about you? Well, thank you, Steve. Okay, so the next thing we can see on the top right is that I've already filled up our milestone, our first milestone, so that we can get ready with a bang in this episode before going back to the main project, and that's making the steel factory as intended. But first, it's time for the big red button.
Milestone reached. Blueprints reduce repetitive building tasks, further optimizing your progression towards saving Earth, with its beautiful ecosystems, abundant natural resources, and sunsets over frolicking puppies and kittens. The blueprint designer allows you to build and combine structures once and then duplicate that configuration effortlessly. Any complaints about the spatial restrictions will only reveal your own inefficiencies.
So the plan is finishing our steel factory, which is over there, still on the label coming steel factory. And then I want to be able to move the products from that factory with trucks to a new location, because this has been our starter base, but it needs an upgrade. And I've come to the realization that this game isn't much of a factory builder only. It's mostly a factory rebuilder, because I'm thinking of maybe just tearing this all down and starting over. I decided that the storage isn't good enough. Our production floors are, well, are something, but so I'm not sure yet on what I want to do here. But yeah, we'll cross the bridge when the steel factory is done, and then we'll make a decision on how we want to tackle this. But first, another big red button press.
Milestone reached. Improved storage containers and the conveyor belt Mark III provide the obviously necessary tools for improving your current setup. Production speed is of the essence after all. So work hard. Work as if every person you have ever or will ever love is depending solely on the choices that you make. Because they are. Warning. FICSIT psychologists recommend not dwelling on the crushing mental and physical strain of your responsibilities and simply continuing to be productive. Hard work has repeatedly proven to be the best cure for any kind of stress. Now back to work.
Okay, that's a little ominous. While we wait for the pod to return, let's at least already select our next milestone, because this one is the one we need to actually be able to and finish phase 2 and finish our steel factory for now, because we need the encased industrial steel beams. We want to produce them at the steel factory, and we need the Mark II miners as well. So let's select that milestone. And let's have a quick look if we can do any more research for now. We have a couple of hard drives that I'm sure of. This one isn't really possible. This one might be possible, but I have to collect. I haven't found any SAM yet. Neither do I have plastic. or high-speed connectors, I believe. I could do this one, but then I'll have to make AI limiters, quick wire. Yeah, I don't really think we have a lot that we can do. Although, we could do this one. What are we missing? Wire? We got plenty of wire, I can only imagine. We do. So, let's do a quick research. Was it nutrients? Yes, it was.
Research shows potential for processing planetary nutrients for pioneer benefit. Nutritional inhaler research available.
And with this last one, we actually finished the tree of the nutritions.
Nutritional inhaler recipe unlocked. Using this inhaler will restore health, and also gives your skin a radiant glow that is connected to well-being and probably not radioactivity.
Probably not radioactivity. What I really want to do is unlock this one. So we need 50 sulfur and 200 cables. Now, sulfur is made in the workshop, I believe. Black powder, not sulfur. But before any of that, another big red button press.
Milestone reached. The Miner Mark II allows extraction of resources from nature to FICSIT at twice the speed of the Mark I model. Miners can be directly upgraded to Mark II without removing the Mark I model, just like conveyor belts and other upgradable infrastructure. Unfortunately, setting up the production of advanced steel parts and project part number 3, automated wiring, will not be as easy. Every moment you delay reduces the chances of saving humanity. I will not show you the predictions, it would only demotivate you.
Okay, so no predictions. Fine. So we actually have some encased beams, is what they're called, right? Encased industrial beams. So we can finish another milestone. But first, let's get back to the MAM and cable. I needed cable. We have cable, right? We have plenty of cable. Now let's do you.
Detonator and Basic Nobelisk unlocked. Most obstacles can be cleared with the Basic Nobelisk. It is most effective against organic material and is able to destroy small boulders and porous rock. Deployed Nobelisks will stick to the first solid surface they touch and queue on the universal detonator. If you do not recall the order in which you deployed the Nobelisks, remember FICSIT does not take responsibility for any harm caused due to human error, even if those errors are genetic.
Okay, so now we can actually make a few of these. And before I do that, let's just see. Yeah, let's make a bunch of them. Because I believe we can blow up quite a few stuff with it, but at least we can unlock the coal node at our coal power plant. So for the time when we eventually actually need more power, we can easily get that. Also, you can destroy, I think you can destroy at least the stinky things with these. And also you can blow up the enemies with them. I mean, those big spiders, they deserve one of these, right? Okay, so here we go. Now, did I mess up? No, I don't think so. Funny thing, while I was gathering materials, I noticed that there is a big hole here. I'm not really sure what happened, but apparently we're not producing reinforced plates, which means we're not producing the screws. or we're not getting the screws, that's why we're not producing that, but we're also not producing modular frames anymore. So let's at least do a quick fix for now. Because these are plates and plates, so we only need screws. And let's do straight mode, you in there, and you in there. I'm not even sure if that's enough, probably not, but it has to do for now. So now let's have a quick look at how many tickets we have. 28. Because I do want to do a little bit of shopping, and I believe we might have saved up a few tickets from our last shopping trip. I've already put on the things that I would like. It's 26 items. I'm sure we can't get them all, but let's see. 108. No. So we won't be able to get them all. So let's filter out the things that we don't really need. I mean, at one point I wanted, but not now. The stairs can go for now. And let's scroll down further. Construction fences can go. Metal barriers can go. Road barriers I really want to use. Structural cable, beam expansion, structural frame set, sure. Frame pillar. Metal pillar, we'll do that later. We won't worry about roofs just yet. Conveyor walls. I really like the personal elevator, but I don't think this shopping trip will let us have it. Same as all the walls. And we're getting close. So, let's see. I do want lighting. I do want the asphalt. I do want that very much. So let's put the gates away. Then we need to put 8 more away. I need the road barriers. Then let's just do these two and buy the rest.
If you sense your productivity slipping when it gets dark, don't worry, this is perfectly natural. Fortunately, FICSIT lights allow you to never experience wasteful darkness ever again.
So with that, we got quite a few new stuff to buy or to build. The blueprint designer, we'll get into that later. The Mark II miner, so you can see that needs encased beams. So that's the thing. We need to have that set up before we can actually start making those. All different kinds of power balls will crush that bridge. The Mark III conveyors and lifts, lights, signs, and a whole lot of foundations and ramps, inverted ramps, quarter pipes, which is all good. And I don't even know if we had this unlocked already, but some windowed walls as well. And then we also have all this nice stuff to play with and creates a safer and more efficient working environment. Okay, sure. That being said, our next step is actually getting to work on that steel factory. So I'm gonna collect some stuff, and when I see you guys again, then we'll be over at our little steel place. Back at our little steel place, I did a little temporary remodeling. I brought some storage containers in, filled them up with some materials, and a little workshop and a crafting bench just for if I need it. So, although we've only set this up last episode, it's now time to actually get down and make what we need. For what we need at least a couple of foundries. So, how many of these foundries would we need? Well, we got our where's the button? This button. So we got our incoming ores. We can scale it up to 480 on both sides. And a foundry takes 45 of each, so we could use 11 of them. So the first thing I want to do is get them all placed down. So 11 foundries. So let's get to it. And just like that, we've got our foundries placed. It still needs to be connected to the power. Let's dug underneath here. And it still has to get upgraded belts. But basically, this is the setup I wanted to go for. We needed 11, so I went with an even number on both sides, 6. And there are a few reasons. One of them being our top tier belts are now tier 3 belts, which carry 270 items, and 6 of these actually require and output 270, so it makes sense. So this is floor 1 done, at least for the machines. And I'm thinking I'm lying even, because it's for these machines, but we need another material here for the product that we are not producing in our little goofy setup right here, and that's limestone. So this side is going to be limestone. I have to change up the belts for the coal and the iron intake a little bit anyway. I think we still have to can we zoom in that far? We can. There's an empty coal node we still have to drill into. And eventually we'll have to upgrade to Mark 2 minus. So now we'll be getting an output of 270 steel ingots on both sides. And the next step will be getting this upper floor and processed. So let's go. Okay, so after a little bit of going back and forth on how I really want to put this, this is what I ended up with for now. So the steel beams, or no, sorry, the steel ingots are being pulled up through these elevators on the sides and then get divided into four constructors making steel beams. One side will pull them up to the next level where it will be ready for transport, and the other side just pushes them on into these assemblers to make the encased beams. Then on both sides, because all of the constructors for the steel beams only is 60, we were left with 30. So I've put them down into a new set of constructors making steel pipes, and that's being pulled up for transport as well, or store and transport, or whatever we're gonna do with it by then. Then on this side, the three assemblers making the encased beams, they get pulled up ready for transport as well. I just put in the elevators for me to remember what is ready. I might change it up a little bit. Then on the input side, for the assemblers making the steel encased beams, we are short one material, which is concrete. So I decided to go with this setup in input, and then beneath here, that's where we need to make our little concrete farm to make this factory actually fully functional. I also deleted the current production for space, but we are getting somewhere. I believe we are. And when it's all done and dusted, then we got time to actually also make it like powered up, connected up, and maybe even looking good. Hopefully. I mean, I'm trying. Today we're gonna end it by one more red button.
Milestone reached. By adding hypertube entrances at both ends of hypertubes, pioneers can achieve two-way travel between locations. They are also error% safer than jump pads. You dreamed of moving across factories like valued resources, such as rocks and water, and FICSIT listened to your dreams. We watched them. We took extensive notes. Hypertubes. Because FICSIT makes pioneers' closely monitored dreams come true.
And with Ada's final words, I think I'm gonna end it here for today. We did a lot of work, collected some resources even along the way, but sadly I didn't get the full factory done. But I'm sure at one point we'll get there. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and like always, hope to see you in the next one.